Hey, everybody. Welcome to Movie Talk. I have with me a very special guest for tonight's show. You know him from the Welsh News Network and the sworn arch enemy of Chili DeCastro and Coded Friends. Everyone, give a big round of applause to Dan.
Woo!
So, Dan, thank you again for having me coming onto the show tonight. And I do enjoy the care package you sent me for being sick, but was the crow pie and soup necessary?
Definitely. Most definitely.
Uh, as you guys know, I've been doing the Creature Feature Corner, and Dan has been the biggest voice to make me do it. And, well, he's been sending a lot of crow packages to me.
Well, you should do it. They're great films. They are so
Oh,
awful that they're brilliant.
I know, that's why I love them. But, I wanted to bring you up here because, again, it's a great way for other people to see beyond the stuff we normally cover and get to know the content creators themselves. And you chose sci-fi for today. Can I ask what draws you to sci-fi?
The hope. The unparalleled belief that we're not going to kill ourselves off. We're going to create a better world.
I like that answer. Now, you were telling me about some sci-fi movies that were shot around Wales, and one in particular was kind of a sci-fi fantasy movie.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Willow.
And besides being shot in Wales and you being a Welshman, is there any other particular significance to you bringing that movie up?
Yes, myself and my brothers were in it.
Oh, wow.
They were desperate for horses and people to ride the horses for a scene they were doing. And they reached out to everyone locally who had horses. We had horses, and that's it. That's how I got in the film.
So, I have a clip brought up for us to see, and this is the clip that you said you were in.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to get it a little bit more context while I get it set up.
We were basically to ride down into this little valley dip in the fields, jump off our horses, put on pig masks and fake trotters, as it was the witch was turning all of us into pigs.
Also, I want to say hello to everybody here in the chat. Before I forget, Maddie B, Agent of Chaos, Greg Jorick, Nightwolf, Abby, Hank's Corner, Social Red Hair, Raven Wing, Lisa. Now, I have this clip, and I don't think I'll be able to point you out because it's kind of a dark scene, but I can see why they needed it because Willow was just one of those big, fantastic movies, and it's a staple in fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah. Believe it or not, that castle was just some scaffolding with material draped on it.
Really?
Yep.
They want to go for a real castle, or they just couldn't get the rights to one?
Where it was and how they want the castle to look, you couldn't do it.
Again, I love the blue screening.
Use the scepter charm to protect yourself.
Right.
Just do it.
Again, Warwick Davis has a huge career in sci-fi.
He does.
He's been in the Star Wars franchise. He's been in Willow. I remember him in Gulliver's Travels with Okay, I have to ask, do you feel offended that she was calling the Welsh pigs instead of the French?
No. No. We decided she was calling the Americans pigs.
Ah, yes. Well, he is really hamming it up.
Oh, there was a lot of that.
Turning your own daughter into a pig. So sad.
It was weird for me seeing her playing that role.
Now,
Oh, they didn't show the bit with the horses.
Now you told me something that happened, with you getting stuck in the mud.
Yeah, while filming that, they had a huge problem with mud because it was basically filmed in fields. And I was only young. I got stuck up to my knees in the mud. And all of a sudden, this huge guy comes along and pulls me out of the mud. And it was the one person who I knew who it was. And it was Pat Roach.
Really?
Yep. And he started talking to us and decided that, no, me and my next oldest brother shouldn't sleep in the stables with everybody else. We should sleep on the sofas in his trailer.
Wow.
So that's where we spent the 4 days of filming.
So Willow is just one of those famous, science fiction fantasy stories. But, to hear that we actually had someone in our community actually be a part of it is something I think is even more phenomenal because, we don't get that kind of, we don't have that kind of notoriety and we don't brag about it, unlike, certain people.
Well, it was only a bloody bit part.
Yeah, but, you take somebody like BSBT, and say he could play one of the cavity creeps from the old Colgate commercials, and he'll be like, oh, I was the star of the commercial. Even though he has no damn teeth. But so we were talking about this before backstage, and 50s sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
What about 50 sci-fi makes you like? Is there any kind of like guilty pleasures about it? Is there anything that you think is just ridiculous? Or
I think it is hilariously bad. The way that nuclear power was going to do everything.
Oh God!
If you could think of it, nuclear was going to do it.
Okay, one of the best examples is it as essentially whatever the opposite of something is. Well, he may have been. From what I've been told, there was a scene of a beached whale at the end. It could have just been him bathing. but that's neither been confirmed. But the movie Them is a classic where we saw radiation turn ants into giant destroyers of a city. But a
That's
personal
one of my favorite films.
One of my personal favorites is Tarantula. And if you guys haven't seen it, a scientist uses a nuclear isotope to try to end world hunger by turning animals giant. And he doesn't just use it on, like standard farm animals to bulk them up, but no, we're talking guinea pigs the size of German shepherds, rabbits, the size of a car. But
you have to ask, why didn't he just do it to a pig?
Exactly. Why not?
I mean, the rabbit, you can kind of get. Rabbit's nice, it's tasty. But guinea pig? Really?
Now, there's a channel I like. I follow him. His name's Brandon Tennell. He does Brandon's Cult Movie Reviews. And he brings up this point. He's like, I get the rabbit and the guinea pigs, but why do it to a tarantula? Why do it to something that will be a destruction to mankind? But not only this, the guys there's 3 scientists. By the way, I forgot to mention this. The field of science was not nuclear physicism or anything like that. He was a nutrient biologist.
Yeah.
And I have one of the best clips from Tarantula that we can show where they would just use this weird blue screen effect of a process shot of the tarantula in a cage, and they would just enlarge it to what we're seeing now. It's only 22 days old, and on 6th injection.
Why would you want to?
Again, why do it on something that's going to kill you?
Yeah.
Why not something small and innocent, like a cow or a pig or chickens?
Oh, no,
you do so much with chicken.
Chickens are vicious.
That is true. I've seen some pretty mean chickens. Oh, great. Now we're going to have giant Reese's monkeys spreading deadly Mutaba virus. Oh, yes. That is the side effects of injecting yourself with the nuclear isotope.
Oh, dear.
You gotta be safe, like the safe injections. I apologize, it's in Spanish. The only ones I could find that possible to get me a strike was only in Spanish and Polish. What was always with the weird computers and lever devices back then?
You got to have the suitable sparks, and it's no good if you haven't got a giant switch to flip. That's
true, but it's one of those things. I enjoy it, but what's this from? I mean, it's cool. Why is that lever there? No, it's just a lever. It's there. If I can't get any women, neither shall you. That's just one of the weird things about Tarantula. And if you guys couldn't tell, we'll be talking about another one, but it was one of those things with like giant animals in sci-fi in the 50s. Like, we had them, we had Tarantula, we had the Deadly Mantis. Then, of course, we had stuff like, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, the Amazing Colossal Man, which I just recently shown. It's like nuclear power can do almost anything. It was weird.
But they believed it was the answer to all the world's problems.
That is true. But if you had to choose one giant animal movie from the sci-fi era of the 50s, which one would you? Them?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go with the Black Scorpion. Personally, I think that one is just it's a little more believable because it doesn't involve radiation. It involves, just prehistoric scorpions. Although both movies did star Maricorday, so
I just like the way in them the actors really went to town on trying to play it straight.
I think that's the best part about the 50s movies is they would play them straight, and they couldn't do certain things because of the Hays Code being in effect, but like the War of the Worlds, the scenes of the general drinking his coffee is like so intense. His hands gripping the cup with like life or death is in this cup every time he drank his coffee.
Yeah.
He's just delivering these lines, and the cup is just in his hand. You can see his hand just stretch over the cup, fingers, veins popping out, just like. So we need to stop these aliens. Let's try nuclear missiles. What about the gimmicks of the 50s? Any of those kind of stand out to you? Like, why?
I want my flying car.
You want your flying car?
Yep.
It's not the gimmick I was talking about, but yeah, flying cars were like one of the biggest things in the 50s. Like, it was always like, in the year 1999, man will have flying cars.
And we're supposed to have colonies on the moon and on Mars and everything.
Now, I would say this. Where are our robots that are supposed to be doing our jobs for us?
Oh, no, I always thought that was a bad idea.
Well, there's certain robots, there's some individuals that would still want.
The robots were a bad idea because this never works out well for humans.
Lisa, that's funny you brought that up about the Jetsons, but they actually predicted a lot of stuff with the Jetsons that we have now. Online classes, telehealth, Zoom meetings. A lot of that shit was in the Jetsons, and we have that now. So, but what I was thinking about gimmicks is like the old gimmicks that they would use for the movies to draw people in. Like, if you've ever heard of the Tingler, starring Vincent Price?
Yes.
If there's a scene where the screen goes to black and you hear Vincent Price say, "The Tingler is in the theater, and the only way to get rid of it is you need to scream." Well, they used to rig up some of the seats with vibrators.
Wouldn't be
And
a
it would
good idea
vibrate.
these days.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. Might draw some more women to the theaters.
Yeah, but imagine the cleanup costs.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what about the theaters that use the full-on size beds?
Yeah, I always wondered about them.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories from the cruise. But for me, it's stuff like the cheesy gimmicks to draw people in, like the vibrating seats, or they would have skeletons fly out.
Didn't they actually
People,
do a film about the cheesy gimmicks with John Goodman in it?
yes, and the best part about it is they were actually playing them. Like, he was the owner of this movie theater, and he was like talking about the movies and how they had these gimmicks. A lot of them were just like, oh well, we'd have the guys dressed up as like mummies or aliens. And when it comes to them, we see him sitting in the chair and he's full radiation suit, just craziness. But for me, one of the most craziest things is with a film called The Angry Red Planet, where 2/3 of the film is shot with a red filter, and they called it Cinemagic.
Oh dear God.
Oh, yes. And I was like, well, what's so special about this movie? Oh, well, it's the screen will be entirely red to make it look like they're on the planet Mars. And they have spent so much on this filter for the camera that the costumes didn't have coverings on the helmets. They spent so much on it that a lot of the effects that we have seen in sci-fi movies are not even there. This is, remembering the horror.
You okay, Iris?
of this-
I'm actually looking forward to start to work.
No, I can't say that I recommend spacesuits for beautiful young dolls. What happened to all your lovely curves?
No,
Careful,
Sammy.
man. You're going to get me
Some of the
too.
creations I've seen in New York store windows didn't look too much better.
Yeah, well, I'm convinced that all fashion designers are woman haters.
Let me take it back so we get a good look of what they thought a Martian looked like.
What the? It looks like some weird drawing of a tick.
This is what they thought a Martian looked like.
Okay.
And not only that, the advertisements for it produced a monster known as the Rat Bats.
Oh dear God.
That appeared on a Misfits cover. And I'll try to track down a image of the rat bat spider, but oh my God, it's just awful.
Dr. Ryan, what is it? What happened?
I don't know. I can't remember. All I know is it was horrible.
All right. All right. You rest now, and we'll talk to you later. Nurse, sodium luminol, 2.5 grains.
Yes, doctor. Intravenous?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take some tranquilizers.
She's obviously had a tremendous shock.
She has a mental block. Her mind refuses to remember something. You noticed her memory is already beginning.
I think she's trying to forget the shitty effects that they made her act in. That's just
Or
my
the fact
personal.
that she's in this film.
Oh yeah.
You need to
Also,
take on
her
a
name is
quality of
Irish.
unreality.
No,
We
not
must
Irish,
know
but
what
Irish. But they call her Irish because of her red hair. Like that's the whole like key to her character is she has red hair and is Irish.
A man's life, perhaps more, depends on it.
I know.
Suppose this alien infection spreads to all of us. Every moment counts.
Well, that's because you
What about
guys
the
decided
tapes?
to
Any results?
screw quarantine. He
We've
pull
gone
out the
through nearly
dude
all
had a
of them.
fucking
Empty.
alien
Dr. Ryan must remember.
bacteria up his fucking arm.
What about narcosynthesis? Well, it's our only hope, but she's pretty weak. She ought to get some rest before we use drugs. Her mind might snap if we forced her to remember the horror she has so
I don't
carefully
know.
obliterated from her conscious level.
Oh, dear.
I think, yeah. Here is some of the stuff that they did with the Cinemagic. You can see all these red spots. And then that is the rat bat spider right here. Let me
Why is there a giant spider on Mars?
why is it also part rat and part bat?
Yeah.
I mean, I get, there's some weirdness with liberties you can take with outer space, but why would you need to have a hybrid of two rodents and an arachnid? And whoever is driving their motorcycle outside my studio, I'm going to put up a speed trap out there.
Nah, just put a steel cable at about 4'5" in height. We'll take care of it. They'll only drive past once more.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me get this set up here. I've talked about the rat bat spider. Mr. Vilify Freedom, thank you, sir, for the $2 super chat. You're always welcome to stop by, and I want to bring you on here one day, so me and you need to talk. Damien, welcome. So let's bring up the full scene of the rat bat spider, because here is Cinemagic at its finest.
You do know you have to send this scene to Witcher Park, right?
Oh, I'm going to have to, yes. I mean,
Come on, Irish.
Well, this certainly looks different.
Wow.
Those trees over there. They look different too.
Yeah, like nothing we've seen.
Hey, let's take a closer look at them.
Okay, Sammy can tell you. Stay.
how painful would this have been on the eyes in a theater?
Extraordinarily.
But yeah, this is what the movie is known for. Like one of the big things.
Here. Keep
Feels like I'm
clear,
watching a
Irish.
rejected
with
predator
you.
through a predator mask, man.
Mind
It's
you,
just-
did many people go to the cinema to see it?
It did pretty well for box office standards.
Doesn't look like bark. Let me have your machete, Tom.
Of course, you need a machete on Mars.
Okay, that's going to upset the spider.
Yes, this is the dreaded rat bat spider. And again, like I said, they cheaped out on so much that they couldn't even get just a piece of plastic to even go halfway down.
I'm wondering if the plastic that they did have face masks, but because of this filter, it was screwing up their faces.
Could have been a possibility. I mean, a man's got a freeze gun.
Look out, Professor!
Yes, the gun is a freezing ray, but because they spent so much on the filter, they can't make any kind of visual effects for it.
Oh.
So every time it is firing, you hear the boop.
Colonel! I'm giving her all she's got! She won't move!
Oh god, that's just horrible looking.
Cleo isn't budging her! Stay
Oh, he named the gun Cleopatra. Forgot to mention. It would suck to die by this creature. I'm just saying that out of all the ways to die in a 50 sci-fi movie, the man would have to die by the rat bat spider.
Aim for the eyes, Sam. Blind it! Good. Are you hurt? No. I'll be all right. No bones broken, just bruised a bit.
No wonder we never went back to Mars. There's a blind rat bat spider wandering around.
Oh hell yeah! I mean,
By some playmate. King Kong's big brother. Even Cleo only gave it a slight chill. He must be about 40 feet high.
Come on. Let's get back to the ship.
seriously, I mean,
Well, apparently freeze rays don't work on it.
well, yeah, I mean, you gotta get it right in the eyes. If that thing's got coverage, oh, we're all damned.
Although apparently a machete is very good against it.
That's true. I wonder if it's good eating though. Again, the Florida man in me is strong.
No, I know how we can defeat it.
How?
We send Ozzy. Ozzy can go bite its head off.
That is true. Now, we've had a good laugh at the 50s. What would you say is one of the most crowning sci-fi movies to come out of the 60s?
Ooh. I don't know. You got so many to pick from the 60s.
I mean, there was just so much to work with. I mean, because again, we're still coming off the boom of the space race.
Yeah.
So we had such good movies coming out of there.
I suppose. When was it made? When was Space Odyssey made?
Give me 1 second.
Was that 60s or was it later?
Yeah, it was 60s. It was 1968.
And if you're talking on the big screen, I think you have to be talking in terms of the best. It has to be Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah. Kubrick was a stickler for that movie. I mean, everything had to be perfect. And for me, one of the most influential 60s sci-fi movies, Barbarella.
Oh dear God.
That
The
movie.
movie where everybody was tripping their fucking tiny little mind off.
I mean, the opening alone is enough to lure anybody to want to watch it.
I mean, yeah, but there is no way you can say that everybody involved in that movie was not on drugs.
Oh, if I would be more shocked and surprised if that entire cast can pass a clean urinalysis. The opening scene of Barbarella, we have Jane Fonda stripping in zero gravity. Then we go into some of the more crazier stuff. Like a mad scientist puts her in a machine that is designed to give pleasure to death.
Yes, death by orgasm.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
There are worse ways to go.
Yeah. It's one of them things like I wouldn't mind going that way, but it's like you never thought you'd die that way. You always hope, though.
Well, yeah.
Now, this is not that scene. This is the birdcage scene where clearly we can see the effects of LSD on people's minds.
I think the entire film was an effect of LSD.
My fancy fuzzy freak.
Don't be coy with me. You are in no position.
The
If only you had
hell?
one eye in your head, you would see what a delight I am. My face, my body, all my things are a delight.
Yes, folks. This is what the French thought sci-fi movies should be. Gratuitous sexual innuendos, and, well, I can't fault them for that.
Oh, come on. It wasn't sexual innuendo. It was just like porn.
Yeah, it was softcore before
What is it you
softcore.
want?
I shall share my delights with you. You shall make love to me.
Okay.
Although isn't it supposed to be him that's got the horn, not her?
Well, he's got a horn somewhere. I mean,
It's love.
Then you're a dead duck. Go to the math moss with this winged fruitcake.
did they say the meth moss? God, look at those costumes.
Come along. Get inside.
Seriously, what is up with those costumes, man? I mean,
Drugs and K.
Okay. It was like, who's got LSD? I got some
Oh, I
peyote. Would that do?
I think in this film it was a question of everyone had LSD.
Death by bird.
Death by budgies.
Are those birds trying to kill her or thrill her? I think this whole film was like, how can we get Jane Fonda naked?
Pretty much. But then, come on, they'd blown the entire budget on having Jane Fonda.
That is true.
This is really much too poetic a way to die.
I mean, out of all the weirdness of Barbarella, that was the most tamest thing I could show.
Yeah.
Because I'm not making.
How you were going to get away with showing any of that film?
Yeah, I found the most tamest possible thing. Because if you show anything else, you're getting a community guideline strike. But luckily, I found something that was somewhat tasteful. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Barbarella was actually based on a French comic book. So we can see a lot of the heavy French art style put in there. But
yeah,
again, I think you're right. I think that whole movie is just how much drugs and how much money can we get to make a movie?
I think they only spent a tiny part of the budget on the movie. The rest was all spent on the drugs.
Oh, yeah. Now, I don't have anything from the 70s we can really talk about. But I've got...
Wait, there's obvious one from the 70s.
Which one would that be?
Star Wars.
That's true. But I don't want to take the chance of
Star
pissing...
Wars was what, 77, 78?
Yes, 77, I think. Star Wars: A New Hope was...
No, Alien wasn't in the
77.
70s, was it?
I
thought that was 80s.
No, it might have been 70s, actually. No, 79.
Huh.
But again, I really don't want to take a chance of risking anything against the mouse because they have been just coming hard on me when it comes to those movies.
Well, yeah.
And, now that they own 20th Century Fox, they own the Aliens versus and the Predator franchises. So, but I would have to say this: Alien felt more like a haunted house experience in space than a true sci-fi film.
I suppose. But the second one was definitely more sci-fi.
Oh, yeah. My favorite scene is it's got to be them in the reactor, and they're trying to find the colonists.
All I know is her driving is so awful. She broke a tank. She broke a space tank.
Okay, I'm going to take a chance on, and I'm going to risk it here. I'm going to try to play some Aliens clips. An Alien. I mean, Alien had a great cast, though.
Yes.
Sigourney Weaver, Yafukoto. I mean, and then surprisingly, one of the most iconic scenes that the cast didn't know about. They weren't, privy to the information.
Oh, the bit that freaked them all out.
Yeah, because the reactions were just real. And I'm going to play that clip.
Big risk to take because they could have had to refilm the whole lot.
If you guys aren't aware of this particular scene, if you haven't seen it, I'm giving you one warning only. If you are eating, put your plates down, and I am not responsible for any cleanup costs. You send them. You send them bills to somebody.
When you either go into space and start having sex without precautions, or eat Taco Bell.
This is definitely one of those being in space and not maybe doing even both. Let's be honest. This is one of those you eat Taco Bell and bang the space chick without protection.
What happened to this guy?
Okay, now nobody knew about this scene taking place until it happened.
The first thing that I'm going to do when I get back is to get some decent food. I can dig it, man. I'm telling you, I've eaten bird food.
I want to know how they convinced him to be in this film.
I don't know, but I do like the fact that he even reprised this similar role in the Mel Brooks movie Spaceballs.
Yeah.
You pound down the stuff like that.
Well, when you had an alien parasite on your face, I think you'd be hungry too.
You just know you know what it's made of.
Besides, he's eating for two.
I'm eating this. What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby. What's wrong?
I should not have eaten that Taco Bell.
What?
If you're squeamish, turn away now.
This is why you shouldn't eat Becca's cooking.
Oh, I'm not touching that one. I'm not touching that one.
That's always a good idea with Becca's cooking, not to touch it.
Not what I meant. Hold him!
Oh, God.
And that's how Chili was born.
Oh, no. Oh, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Nobody knew that was going to go down. like the entire cast did not know until the day. Like the dude was like, "What am I doing? Okay, we're gonna put this on. Don't tell nobody." Okay. Becca. I Dan, you want to fill this one?
No, Becca enjoyed me filling it too much.
I gotta get a soundboard. But we've talked about this one, and again, this was one of those iconic sci-fi movies, and of course, the sequel was more sci-fi than anything, and let's bring this one up. I will have to give this. James Cameron did do a phenomenal job when it came to lining up these shots, getting the mood set for him perfectly.
Go on now.
Hold on one second. And we got a copyright notification.
Woohoo!
Doesn't tell me which part. I'll find out later when I find it. But again, I mean, Cameron was just phenomenal at getting the right scene set up to make you feel more with, as like you're in there with the Marines. But I have to ask, have you ever met somebody in the military as inept as Gorman was?
Yes.
And was he a high-ranking officer? I'm not asking for names, just if he was a high-ranking officer.
No.
He was just as inept as one.
Yep. You met Shuggy, right?
Yeah. Oh, dear Lord.
Hey, Shugs.
Hey, Shuggy. I did like how this established more lore with the move, with the whole storyline of the xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Now, the girl that played Newt, she was in a documentary that came out. It's called In Search of Tomorrow, the definitive documentary to 80s sci-fi. And she had shared how protective Sigourney Weaver and the woman that played Vasquez was to her. Like, they always made sure on set she was never scared. She had everything she needed. Really took on like a paternal role.
What?
Come get over here, we got a live one! You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Please. Just stay calm. We're gonna get you out of here. You're gonna be all right.
Is this the reason they're cooking like this cooking again, Dan?
Convulsion!
Get back! Move!
Did you know that James Cameron actually, before taking the directing for Aliens, directed an Alien knockoff?
I did not.
Yes. He didn't direct it per se, but he was the head visual and special effects person for the Galaxy of Terror, which is essentially an Aliens knockoff down to the plot of a group of people going to an alien Oh,
we're off.
Bastards.
Aliens is a no-no.
Yeah. They get you. Mouse gets you every fucking time.
What gets me, though, is they're obviously okay with someone putting up a clip of it.
Yeah, it came from if it comes from movie clips that has like 1 million plus subscribers, oh, no problem. And clearly we're transforming it where
there you go. We're back.
All right. Yeah, this happens all the time. Clearly we're being more transformative. We're doing it in fair use. We're putting commentary on it, but YouTube just likes to stick it to the smaller channels.
Yeah. The stupid part is, like we were saying when you guys couldn't hear us, is that clip is on YouTube.
Yeah. All my clips I source from YouTube. So, and now they send me the email saying for the copyright notification. Well, before I was interrupted by our corporate overlords that is YouTube and Google, James Cameron, before taking the director's seat for this, was the head visual effects person for Galaxy of Terror, which was a Roger Corman film, which down to the plot of Aliens was pretty much Aliens. This is a straight knockoff. Although it did have a weirder cast. It had people like Sig Haig, Robert Englund. It involved some weird stuff. I can't really get into it, but let's just say a giant maggot woman scene is on YouTube, and it's very famous. So,
although, Cameron did make one of the worst films of all time.
Which was that?
Titanic.
Yeah. I was forced to go to that exhibit that was tied into the movie when I was a kid. And I was cool with it because I do like history. I do enjoy seeing like the actual stuff that they brought back up from the bottom of the Titanic. But all the girls and all the women that were there were like, well, where's the heart of the ocean? Where is it? Where's the dresses? And like, where's the sketch? 'Cause that has to be here. Not realizing that shit was made up for the movie.
To be honest, most of the movie was complete fantasy.
Oh, yeah. But you're going to a history museum. You're expecting to see historical things. You're expecting to see actual artifacts, not a piece of glass that was made in the props room. Now, how do you feel about movies with a message? Dan?
I love them. I think it's a great idea. It's a way of making people think about complex situations that they wouldn't normally do.
Now, one of my personal favorite movies that pushes the message that it makes you think was by John Carpenter, and it's Them. I mean, They Live. Sorry about that. They Live. I mean, you've got Keith David, Roddy Piper. and this is one of the iconic scenes from the movie.
Morning in America. Fresh.
If
vital.
you're not
The
familiar,
old cynicism
Roddy
is
Piper
gone.
gets these sunglasses that let him see the truth. So you
We
see
have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to
the
what
subliminal
comes
message of
it all.
the shadow government.
It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism. There are no limits. We
It
must
figures
look
it would
to
be
the
something
strength
like
of
this.
Our nation, our ideals
Oh,
of vision.
excuse
We don't want
me.
to just survive.
Like if you look at it, everything back there, the alcohol, sleep, submit, conform, all of that is just being pushed. And 80s was all about consuming.
You look like your head fell on the cheese dip back in 1957. You're okay. This one, real fucking ugly.
Rod.
You see, I take these glasses off. She looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on, formaldehyde face. That's what we got.
That's enough out of you. You get out or I call the cops.
Call the cops? You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
Dan, what's your takes on They Live?
I've not actually seen that film.
Well,
But it
you've
looks
probably
hilarious.
Oh, it is. You've probably seen the most iconic scene, which would be the fight scene between Piper and Keith David, where he's trying to make him put the sunglasses on. South Park kind of did an homage to it with the two special needs characters, Jimmy and Timmy.
Yeah.
That scene where they were fighting is essentially a remake of the fight scene from They Live.
I've got one that can see.
Like everything was all about the
He's a tall Caucasian male, doesn't appear armed, wearing sunglasses.
I don't like this one bit. Not one bit.
And again, this is just, it's pushing the message of, question authority, what's the truth behind everything. But yet it's not doing it in a way that's over the top or forced, It feels more organic to the story.
Yeah.
So it makes you want to ask the questions.
That's like pouring perfume on a pig.
All right, suppose we settle down. That's far enough. Where'd you get those glasses?
Tooth fairy.
I'll bet.
You got him.
Come on, Hot
Get
Rod.
yourself shaving this morning.
You look as shitty to us as we do to you.
Impossible.
It would be easier if we don't have to splatter your brains. Just take it easy. And you stumbled onto something here. Maybe we can all benefit from this slight misunderstanding. Now let's go someplace quiet so we can talk this over.
It's a nice piece.
So you bastards die just like we do.
I have to give that a watch.
Oh, it's really good. And to answer Nightwolf's question, what was the wrong one? No, I have not seen The Last Sentinel.
That rings a bell.
And we're down again.
Woohoo! Seriously.
This happens.
Why did they care about that film?
Funko. Funko owns the rights to the pop line.
Ah.
I'm hesitant to now play the Flash Gordon clip because I know they'll probably get me for the Queen music.
I know, I don't tend to get hip for music much.
That's the risk with movie talk. I could always fight them. I've only lost one, but it's not a big deal. Like last time I did it with Mark, we didn't get any strikes until like I didn't get any of the notifications. I got like 5 of them all the next day. No emails for him either. You're removed for con. Oh wow. I think they actually might have killed the entire stream for good.
No, it just says suspended.
We have a third-party
and it's back.
Well, I'll have to take actions with that one because it looks like they might have actually given me a strike.
What?
Give me a chance to go to studio real quick. Because I'm actually thinking they might have given me a community guideline strike.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I know. YouTube, they do this to me all the time. Because I have it dual streaming to both. So if there's one here, there's probably one on the other one. Yep, community guidelines.
Really?
Yep, for a third-party contact.
What?
For third-party content, that's what they're doing it for. I guess I can't show people dealing with aliens like that. Give me a second to check the actual main channel and see what they did to this one.
Oh, wait, no, are they giving it because you're broadcasting it to 2 channels?
I don't know if it's because they're giving me it to both channels, but I think they might have pulled that clip. And it says, I am not able to upload or post or go live for a week if this happens again.
Oh, so, you got community guidelines, yeah.
Yeah. I've already got one. So I can't risk taking the chance of getting a strike or getting demonetized. So we can try to wrap up with some questions from the audience, or we can call it here.
I'm good with either. Your show.
Let's just call it for here for now, and we'll try to get this picked up back up again another time. Because again, I would love to have you back on here.
Anytime, you know that. I enjoy talking about movies.
Dan, do you want to plug your channel or anything special coming up?
Oh, good God, no.
If you guys haven't already subscribed, I have a link in the description box to Dan's channel. You're going live tonight, right?
Yeah, in about an hour and 20 minutes.
Guys, don't forget to show up to the Welsh News Network. You guys stream Monday through Wednesday, and then Friday through Sunday.
Yeah, it depends. Some weekends we're off on the Saturday. Some weekends we're off on the Sunday.
Just check with your local listings for the weekend shows.
Well, it depends what everyone's got on the weekends, so that one moves around a bit.
But again, thank you, Dan, for showing up and joining me today. And on that note, I wish everyone a happy and safe weekend. Dan, I will see you at your stream later on tonight. Everyone, be well, be safe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.